טל גם נקבל. אנחנו עוברים לפרק הבינלאומי שלנו כרגע. מר ריינהרד בוטיקופר הוא חבר הפרלמנט האירופי, יושב ראש מפלגת הירוקים בגרמניה ומפלגת הירוקים בפרלמנט האירופי. הוא ממובילי יוזמת גרין ניו דיל בגרמניה, שהייתה מקור ההשראה לפרויקט כלכלת המחר הישראלי שאנחנו פה לכבודו היום, והוא הסכים להיות איתנו בשידור ישיר מבריסל כדי לספר על היוזמה. מיסטר בוטיקופר, can you hear us? So now we know that you can see us, but can you hear us?
Am I supposed to just start or are we waiting?
Can you hear us, Mr. Butikofer? The answer is no, I suppose. את יכולה לכתוב לו משהו? פשוט שיתחיל עם...
Well, just let the people raise their hands if I'm supposed to start. Okay, great. I see that. So, welcome everybody. Greetings from Brussels. Greetings particularly to Mark Bertold, to Alon Tal, to the moderator, and to all people present. I'm happy to be part of this event, even though it's just via Skype conference. I've been asked to add a couple of ideas and to report on some of the discussions that we're having here in the European Union with regard to our concept of a green economy, and I'm happy to. First of all, I would like to start from a very simple statement. The green economy, from our point of view, is not just a sectoral issue. The green economy is not really concerned with, let's say, windmills, solar panels, rehabilitation, insulation of homes, and other environmentally helpful technologies. The green economy is a much broader concept, greening all the sectors of the economy and of our industries. So what then are the basic dimensions of change that we envision when we talk about a green economy? I think there are four, and they play on different levels. There is an economic dimension, obviously, a dimension of an industrial transformation, and this plays strongly in the field of changing the energy basis of our whole economic system, substituting fossil fuels and nuclear with renewable energies. Secondly, also promoting energy efficiency and promoting, which is no less important, resource efficiency. I think these are the three most important dimensions of a broadly conceived transformation strategy in the industrial sector. Then we have the social dimension of the green economy. Social inclusiveness has to be, I believe, an integral part of that. I think it's obvious if you look at the youth unemployment figures in many European countries why that would be the case. So you cannot be successful with an environmental transformation without involving the people. And if the people are excluded from the economic activity, if they're excluded from progress, that's not the green way. So social inclusion is the second dimension of the green economy. Third, we do need macroeconomic re-regulation. We all saw how the financial sectors failed our economies. We saw how through many sorts of collusion between politicians and bankers and banksters and hedge fund managers and all kinds of people, the real economy and social justice has been deprived of the resources that we need, and the financial sectors have behaved as if they were overlording not only over other sectors of the economy, but also over society as such. So we have to re-regulate in the macroeconomic field to rein in that and to make economic actors responsible towards society. And the fourth dimension of a green economy is cultural. And that might surprise people. But I still think this is an important perspective because, look, if we get more energy efficient and if we get more resource efficient, if we use more renewables, if we're more inclusive, if we re-regulate financial markets and do not take account of the problem of the rebound effect, if we don't take account and if we don't start tackling the issues of the overwhelmingly the dominating relevance of the growth paradigm, then we will definitely be able to make some improvement. We will not be really achieving in the medium and long term what we mean by a green transformation. So I think that weaning the society from the growth paradigm is also an important cultural dimension to a green economic strategy. Now, what are the issues that are front and center in our discussion presently in Europe? I think there's a clear ranking. Number one, obviously, energy. Phasing out nuclear, promoting renewables, creating energy infrastructure, getting rid of subsidies for fossil fuels, and all kinds of issues. This is really front and center. Number two, the financial sector. We have made all kinds of promises, the leaders have, to Mrs. Merkel, the German chancellor, once famously said that every financial product at every point in time, at every place globally should be regulated. We're far from that. So that is also a core issue. We discussed the banking union in the European Union right now. We have been successful as Greens, particularly as German Greens, in pushing our governments into the direction of introducing a financial transaction tax. We have not seen the majority large enough to introduce that EU level as such. We have an interesting instrument called enhanced cooperation. So 9 member states, if they agree on such a measure, we're about to do. Number 3 is the raw materials issue. This has come to the forefront heavily over the last 2 years. Number 4 is a kind of strategic controversy that is playing out presently in many industrial sectors. On one hand, do we pursue an environmentally defined innovation strategy, or are we playing by protectionist rules, and are we trying to sort of defend existing lobby interests for the sake of their promise to keep providing jobs? And I think what we've seen in the German experience is that whereas major players in the utility sector have always tried to prevent green progress by arguing that this would hamper the jobs balance, the reality is that the opposite is the truth. We have created many more jobs with our shift towards renewable industries, and this is probably the most convincing single example of what a green transformation strategy has achieved and can achieve in many countries. And number 5, of course, an issue that has also been put to me in preparation of this conversation: what can NGOs do? And not going into details, I would think that broadly speaking, there are three levels of activity, and every NGO probably will have to choose where they are best and what they want to do. But conceptual work is extremely important. If we have not been able to rely on the conceptual work of many NGOs as Green Party, we wouldn't be where we are. So they have had a major input effect, creating all the analyses and contributing with strategy, strategizing. So that's a very important contribution. Second, I think NGOs can play a very interesting role as facilitators for innovation partnerships. I am thinking presently of a small NGO that is doing advocacy work in Berlin. They are cooperating on some issues with the automotive industries. On other issues, they take them on. They try to build issue-based innovation alliances, bringing on board academics, bringing on board politicians, administrators, people from the business community, and defining as environmentalists, as NGOs, the agenda, setting the framework, and using that ability to move the agenda. And third, of course, NGOs will have to continue playing the destroying game. I mean, being the nasty guys, the guys who are opposing shale gas fracking. We have helped NGOs throughout Europe to come together to build a network to oppose shale gas fracking in many different countries. And I think this is also a very important perspective. Where do we stand? And I'm about to wind up these initial remarks. I think that there have been some backlashes throughout Europe recently. The Doha conference manifested the lack on the part of the European Union of ability to really be a pathfinder, to be a leader. We have almost achieved our goal of reducing the CO2 emission by 20% by the year 2020. Still, many EU countries refuse to set a more ambitious goal, and this is partly under heavy lobby pressure from different industries. So there are setbacks, but on the other hand, we're also seeing progress, and the tide is shifting. The climate agenda has been at a very low ebb over the last years. I think it's swinging back. I think you can almost sense that. And the political spectrum is also swinging back. At a given point, there were only 3 governments in all of Europe that did not have a conservative government. That is changing also. We're looking forward as Germans, let me say that as a German, not just as a European, to changing the majority in Germany next year. We're going to have elections in September, and hopefully we will be able to reestablish what we call a red and green government, and I think that would change the balance in Europe to a considerable degree. So thank you for listening, and I'm interested to hear your comments and if I'm able to respond to questions that you might want to pose. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boutikoffer, for the most interesting and eye-opening lecture. Can you hear us now? אז מאיה, אני מציע שתכתבי לו תודה ואנחנו נעביר שאלות בכתב, נכון? אוקיי, אז בבקשה, מישהו מי מעוניין? אוקיי.
I hear that you're speaking, but I don't understand what you're saying.
Can you hear us now, Mr. Boutikoffer?
I hear you now, yes.
Oh, great. So I would like to ask, with your permission, first of all, thanks, of course, for the most interesting things. And I would like to ask, you know, we need an advice here. We would like to promote a Green New Deal of our own, an Israeli one. Can you tell us how to start? I mean, after this evening, which is the first step, what is next? What should we do next?
Well, I hope I'm not disappointing you, but I don't think that this evening is the first step. I know that a couple of people have been working on Green New Deal ideas in Israel for a while. So definitely I would think that all those that have not yet been part of that agenda should make sure that everybody will be joining forces with others who've already invested in this agenda and come together. Then, from my own experience, I think it makes very little sense politically to act as if this was an academic exercise or if that was a philosophical or economic seminar. If it should become a practical political strategy, then there has to be a very clear-cut focus. In our case, the focus was getting rid of nuclear energy and promoting renewable industries. And we built the case for the Green New Deal around that one core issue. Now, I'm not sure what your core issue in Israel would be. Maybe it's the fact that there are many subsidies for fossil fuels. I'm not aware of your situation, but I know from many European countries that this is still the case. So maybe this could be an issue where you could combine a social perspective with an environmental perspective, freeing up that scarce money in the public coffers for social expenditure, and at the same time, by not continuing to subsidize fossil fuels, changing the economic balance towards a better chance for energy alternatives. Maybe that could be a core issue. I think that has to be analyzed on the basis of the real situation on the ground, but a strategy that wants to promote the agenda has to have a clear sort of lighthouse project around which it organizes.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions from the audience? בבקשה, שימה, please.
Hello, sir. My name is Shimon, and I know that in Europe, most of the water, drinking water, are hard water. Are you familiar to any treatment to save energy by treating properly limescale? Thanks.
No, sir, Mr. Shimon. I'm afraid I cannot give you a specific answer on that. The water issue has not been at the forefront in our discussions in recent times, but it's more and more becoming a issue right now. There are countries like Germany where there's an abundance of water, so it would be really a difficult strategy to convince average voters that water is a pressing issue. It would be a different discussion in the south of Spain, where they're really experiencing drought after drought. At the level of the European Union, the last Environmental Ministers' Council just came up with a water package, and the European Commission is working on a water package. But I can't give you a very specific answer. We have not been that deeply involved with water issues so far.
Thank you very much.
In your case, that could be the core issue. And I'm sure there are all kinds of experts that we could hook you up with if there would be any need for that, to exchange with Israeli experts their experience.
Thank you very much. Last question from the audience. Anyone? Okay. Mr. Boutikoffer, thank you very, very much for being with us tonight. And good night from Tel Aviv.
I wish your conference a good success. I hope that you will be picking up on the Green New Deal agenda successfully, and that we will be hearing from each other more in the future. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. See you in Israel. Bye-bye. תודה רבה, מאיה. זה אגב היה הדגמה חיה לטכנולוגיות ירוקות. חסכנו המון גזי חממה, וזה ששמענו את ההרצאה דרך המסך ולא בתל אביב. אוקיי. הגברת רייצ'ל ברנר שלם היא דוקטורנטית לכלכלה באוניברסיטה העברית, יועצת כלכלית בכירה לממשלה וכלכלנית בשירות התעסוקה הישראלי, מתנדבת מזה כעשור בארגוני סביבה ושינוי פוליטי חברתי.